Traders, welcome back to the Master Your Trading Mindset movement. Today's video is all about the second part of key lessons I learned from interacting with great traders. And today is a very subtle lesson that I learned that I picked up from an individual who's an incredible trader. And I want to unpack it. There's an underlying principle that I want to unpack here, because once I saw it key with this individual and I saw this individual embody this principle and demonstrate it, it became clear that the best traders, all the best traders have this principle. And not only that, all the best athletes and all the people who are leaders in their field and doing incredibly great things in their field embody this particular principle. And the story, you've probably heard the story on the YouTube channel before, but this individual had an incredibly profitable trade. One trade was a six-figure trade. So they made six figures in one particular trade, and they closed down that position. They made six figures on that particular position. And I asked the individual once they told me, how do you feel about that? And their response was incredibly neutral and incredibly balanced. And they just thought that the response was very nonchalant. And they just said, it is what it is kind of thing. And that seems like a very simple response. But I think there's a very powerful principle that goes behind it. Because the picture you would think of in your mind, or the reaction you would think an individual would have from making $100,000 plus in an individual position is that they'd be incredibly elated, they'd be over the moon, they'd be going off telling everybody, they'd be getting all excited about it. But what I found is that those people who get excited about goals, or they're extremely elated by goals, or they feel just a sense of, being extremely happy over accomplishing a particular thing, that individual deep down intuitively knows they don't actually deserve that particular goal. And think of it as a sort of levels in your mind, or layers in your mind. Levels, right? What an individual who gets extremely elated or excited about accomplishing a particular goal, in their mind, they're accomplishing something that's above them in their mind, and they're reaching above to the next level, and they're achieving something that's beyond what they think they're capable of, or what they in their mind thought they were responsible for having in their life. Now, this individual had a very nonchalant response to making such a large amount of money in one trade. What that showed to me was that they were resonating on that level, and they felt worthy of having that particular amount of money, or winning that amount of money from that individual trade, because that's the level they resonated on. That's just what they did. And this has been very common from what I've observed with great people. It just becomes what they do. And a lot of people may look at other individuals, other traders, or other experts in other fields, and think, oh, that individual's incredibly talented, or they're extremely good at what they do. But that individual knows deep down that that's just what they do day to day. They have a higher standard than anybody else. They've set a higher standard in their life. They work harder than anybody else. They've put all the background and foundational work in, and now the results are just a consequence of them doing what they do and being who they are. So this particular principle I put into the 12-week program, and there's a particular exercise that I get my clients to do to help them feel this way towards funding. And you have to think about it. If you're going for a particular funding, or you want to accomplish a certain goal in your trading, and you have that goal up on a pedestal, and you put that goal above you, and you self-minimize in turn because that goal is now above you, now, you're not going to feel worthy of having that particular goal. You're going to only be aware of all the benefits you're getting from it. You're not going to be aware of any of the drawbacks, or any of the risks, any of the disadvantages of having that goal. And you're going to put that goal above you. You're going to lack confidence. You're not going to feel worthy of having that particular goal. And the traders who accidentally get funded by accident, by maybe having a really great position, one position that puts them over the profit target, what ends up happening is they then achieve this goal they have way up on a pedestal. And now they're so frightened of losing that particular goal. They've got so much stress trading the funded account, and because they're fearing losing it. And it's just that individual doesn't stick to their trading plan. They don't let their processes play out because they're so scared of taking losses, etc., etc. They end up losing that funding. So the process I take clients through, or students through, in the 12-week program is we help them identify all the drawbacks, all the risks, all the disadvantages of the particular goal they want to accomplish. And let's say this individual wants to get funded, we make them aware of all the drawbacks, all the risks, all the disadvantages of being a funded trader, so they're aware of those things up front. And they can see that being a funded trader has both advantage and disadvantage. There's going to be benefits to it, yes. There's going to be an opportunity to leverage your trading, but there's also going to be drawbacks. There's going to be risks. There are going to be disadvantages that you need to be aware of being a funded trader. For example, one of the most common ones is the greater levels of stress or the greater levels of accountability on your trading. If you do take losses, you're taking bigger positions, you're taking bigger losses, there's added emotional stress there and stress is there as well. So that's a big drawback that a lot of traders aren't prepared for. So what we're doing is we're making them aware of the other side of the goal in foresight so that they can feel like that goal is two-sided, that goal is real. When we have something up on a pedestal, that thing is a fantasy out of our reach on a different level. It's out of reach, right? It doesn't feel like that particular goal is accomplishable or real. But the moment you take it off the pedestal and you're aware of the drawbacks, the risks, the disadvantages, and you level that goal with you, and you see that goal in front of you as a balanced two-sided, it has two sides, so it has advantage and disadvantage. Now all of a sudden you feel worthy of that particular thing. You realize it has two sides to it, it has advantage and disadvantage, and you feel like you resonate on that particular level. And that particular exercise is very powerful because you not only take the goal off the pedestal, but now you're also aware of all the drawbacks, all the risks of being a funded trader, so you can prepare for those drawbacks, those risks in foresight by putting contingencies and risk management protocols in place before you actually accomplish that goal. And that just significantly increases the probability of you holding on to that funding and being successful with that funding in the long run. But the reason I'm telling you this is because I think this individual who had that great profitable trade already embodied those principles. They were already aware of the drawbacks, the risks, the disadvantages of the money. They saw the money for what it was. They were very balanced on the money. They didn't have this wild fantasy in their mind of hitting a $100,000 trade or $100,000 plus trade, a six-figure trade. But what they did is they were very balanced. They saw both sides to that. And as a result, the moment that goal came in and they accomplished that particular goal, they were very neutral on it. They were very balanced because they were aware of both sides of accomplishing that goal. They recognized there's both advantage and disadvantage. So the other thing here that's really important to underscore is that this individual was also aware of all the work and the foundational work they put in. Some people may look at accomplishing that goal as some form of an overnight success, but the individual who accomplished the goal had done so much background work, they'd taken so many losses in the past, they'd sacrificed so much, that they were reaping the rewards or being compensated for all the work they put in the past. And in their mind, they could see that, and as a result, they weren't overly elated by the goal, but they felt worthy of accomplishing that goal. And that's why I also encourage traders that do get funded and they have a funded account there to make themselves aware of all the work they put in the past, all the things they've sacrificed, all the losses they've taken in the past. So in their mind, they feel worthy of having that funding now, and they realize they're just being compensated for what they've done in the past. And in their mind, it's been balanced and they see it for what it is. Because the last thing you want is to get funded or you want to accomplish such a profitable trade and not feel worthy of having that particular thing, that you end up squandering it. You feel guilty, you end up blowing that particular money. Now, the last really key lesson on this from this individual that I learned was that they were never in their mind wanting to accomplish a six-figure profitable trade. That wasn't necessarily something that they strive to do every single day. It wasn't their sole purpose for trading. They didn't get up every day and they didn't want to accomplish that goal. They may have had that goal somewhere written down as like a little milestone that would be cool, but that wasn't their sole purpose for trading. That's not the reason why they did what they wanted to do. And this is the difference between outcome-based goal setting and process-based goal setting. This individual may have written that thing down as a cool milestone, but what they were focused on day to day was their processes. They were focused on refining their trading plan, forecasting their trading plan onto the market, and executing if a position came through. They were constantly focused on executing on the process. The outcome came as a side effect of that. So it's really important not to set these outcome-based goals on what you would like, the end of the month profit to look like or the end of trade profit to look like, because the truth is the profitable months and the profitable trades come from the consistent execution of good processes. And that's really the third thing that I learned from this individual was that they were so focused on the process that actually allowed them over a long period of time to accomplish such a remarkable outcome on an individual trade. So there are many lessons from this individual, but the key things that stood out for me was just their ability to stay balanced and poised, and what goes beyond that, and what goes behind that, and why they were able to do that. They saw both sides of the goal. They recognize all the work and the time they've put in the past, they've been compensated for in that moment. And the other thing was that they weren't striving for that day to day. They focused on the process, and that outcome came as a result of good processes executed on daily, and then over a long period of time they accomplished a milestone that's very remarkable. So there were some really key lessons from this individual. Hopefully you got a lesson in there. I think that's going to resonate with a lot of you on different levels, and you're going to take something from it. So just a little bit of a recap what the Master Your Trading Mindset movement is all about, because we're coming towards the end of the 30 days. For 30 days every day in December, I'm putting a video out a day to help each and every single one of you master your trading mindset. If you're just starting on this particular video, make sure you go to the start of the playlist and check out all the videos day 1 to day 30. And share the videos you resonate with friends, put them in your trading communities, etc., etc. Let's get this movement out there. And that helps me grow also, and that helps get the focus on trading mindset out into the trading community, so traders can be focused on the right things heading into 2023, and they can have a very successful year in 2023. But hopefully you got some lessons from this one. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for the next day of the Master Your Trading Mindset movement. Cheers.